right, 12:02 here on Edmonton Sports Talk. EST Afternoons coming up from 1 until 3. The Reed Wilkins Show from 3 until 6. And then we'll have a pregame show, 6:30 tonight. The GCL Diesel pregame show with Tommy Gazzola, who does join us now here on the Oil Stream. Obviously brought to you by Brendan. Can you throw up the Boston Pizza one? It'll be, if you look in that chat, go back in there and then look at the graphics. You can turn the one on and turn the other one off. There you go. Turn that one off, turn on the other one. And boom, there we go. Beautiful. Oil Stream is brought to you by Boston Pizza, where we will be at the Clairview Boston Pizza for next Wednesday. And we've not been there since they had their fire and they've rebuilt everything. So we're very excited to be there. So make plans to join us. Let's kind of try to get the few people in there on Wednesday as they really sort of start to fire things back up, which should be a lot of fun. And of course, Boston Pizza at lunchtime, great place to go. $15. You get a main, you get a side, you get a bevy. And if you don't get it in 20 minutes or less, then next time you come in, you get it for free. And we should also note, assuming the Oilers start on the road in Los Angeles, game 1 of the playoffs, Tommy will be at the Westgate Boston Pizza as well with Curtis and Tony and the crew, which to fire off the playoffs on the road for a game 1 at Westgate, it's the only way to do it, Tommy. We have muted Tommy. Tommy, do you have yourself muted? Or does Brendan have muted?
Great giveaways there. I had myself muted. I apologize for that. Forget Brendan getting the graphics up. I had myself muted. Rookie mistake. Yeah, great giveaways. The boys always have a lot of fun, and the crew there is great. Good vibe. It's going to be busy.
Game 1 vibe? A game 1 vibe there, man? Vibe. That's going to be that's going to be good.
Yeah,
Tony's going to be in shambles. He's just going to be a mess. He'll be a mess. Tony's going to be hitting those rum and cokes really hard. All right. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. That's 780-218-9999 as we get you ready for this game. If you're over on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up for us and feel free to chime in on the game as well. And we will definitely get to those. Tommy, but bring me up to speed. Everything going on down the rink. It looks like Matthias Ekholm does return for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, that's great news because he's missed a handful of games. I think he's around 7 games missed since he came back the last time. And it was interesting too, Dusty, during the morning skate. Like he wasn't really.
Was he skating with a partner or was he just sort of doing his own thing?
He was kind of like the extra. Him and Deneen were kind of lingering on the side a little bit. And you're like, I don't know if he's going to play. Like it doesn't look like he might be good to go, but he came off relatively early. And sure enough, Chris Knobloch confirmed that Ekholm will be back in action. That's great to see. He's huge for this team. Get him a couple of games. Hopefully he has been able to take care of whatever issues had been bothering him, whether it's illness, whether it was an actual injury, whether there's been something lingering. Clearly, I would think that there has been. Hopefully he is ready to go. So that's a great sign there. But then we got the confirmation on the Wallman injury. He's expected to play 1 game or 2 games before the end of the regular season.
Okay. So he's going to miss a game.
Just go down the list?
Go ahead. Just lay it out for us right now. What do we have for recent injury updates?
Yeah, there was a lot today. So Stu Skinner's going to back up.
Okay.
He's going to expect him to make 2 starts before the end of the season. So in the back-to-back and then probably the last game.
He'll get the last one, yeah.
And we'll talk about this, but one thing Chris Knobloch pointed out when he was asked about his goalies, he said, we're going to start the guy who gives us the best opportunity to win in the playoffs. So that that's a bit ambiguous. We should talk about that in a bit. And then just wrapping up the injury situation, Trent Frederick, not expected to be back until maybe game 2. Knobloch didn't rule out game 1, but he's like, probably game 2. Again, take all of this with a grain of salt because his timelines have been awful. His
way
accuracy rate. Yeah. Also, Trent Frederick, game 2, likely, maybe game 1. Evander Kane getting closer. DNB, Daniel Nugent-Bowman, asked if it was a possibility that Kane plays down in the minors on a conditioning stint. Knobloch would not go that far or comment on that. And then Leon Draisaitl remains out and will probably play a game or two before the end of the regular season.
Did Leon speak today?
He did speak today,
okay.
yeah. And I mean, this was just an observation, but he wasn't firing the puck the usual way he normally does. So I don't know, like, you know.
So you said he's out, but will still play before the end of the regular season?
That's what's expected. But yeah, and just kind of observing him, he's not shooting the puck with the same kind of force that we're used to right now. So maybe he's just making sure that whatever is ailing him is okay by the time he needs to start pounding the pill, as Stoff likes to say.
He loves to say pound the pill, hey?
Oh, yeah. He loves that one.
Yeah. All right, 780-218-9999. We will continue with all this conversation coming from the rink today. The Edmonton Oilers getting into it with the San Jose Sharks this evening. I got distracted because Coop. I don't know if you heard this morning. Zach's got pop in our beer fridge. And I was just
shocking.
Like, you're taking up valuable beer space when we have a fridge in the kitchen right through this wall.
Big fridge.
For pop.
Big huge fridge.
He had the nerve. He goes, there wasn't any room in there for my cans of pop.
That's a lie.
I said, do you want me to take you over there right now and show you that there is room? Like one of my children. I was just like, you're telling me there's no room for cans of pop in here. So I printed off this huge paper and I put no pop on there. And then Zach tweeted out and said that he does have that row of cans in the top, but they won't be there after the show today. Like when I'm done here, I'm going to clear out that pop.
And if you're really
mad, he's got an hour to move his pop to the other fridge or it's gone.
Right. And if you're really mad, you know what you do? You take that pop and you smash it on the sidewalk.
Oh, man. That'd be a real jerk move. I don't want him to not have his pop, but I mean, geez, Tommy, you're savage. Even Brendan looked at me weird when you said that. Zach really better get rid of that pop before you roll in here. You're going to be out there on the street busting heads with cans of pop. All right,
want a mess? You want to play with the bull? You're going to get the horns, man.
Take that.
That's a beer fridge, not a pop fridge.
All right. So as far as guys who are going tonight, McDavid, Brown, Skinner, Henrique, Hyman, Arvidsson, Janmark, Perry, Podkolzin, Philp with Kapanen and Jones. And that'll be the forward group that we'll be looking at tonight. So Skinner and Brown get another run with Connor McDavid. I think that's only fair after the way that line played in that last game against St. Louis.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, they were good. I'm really liking Arvidsson's game. Pardon me. I know he's not on that line. Brown with a good couple of goals. Skinner's game, I should have said that. I'm liking Skinner's game. He has been consistently better since January 1st, let's call it. And he's been tenacious and feisty, and it looks like he has gained a little bit of trust. And quite frankly, I mean, they need to play him because they have no healthy bodies. So it's nice to see him getting rewarded and playing with other skilled players. So that line, let it roll. And then I have really liked Arvidsson. I want to reiterate that. And he's providing some offensive punch. Dusty, we're in a situation now where Skinner and Arvidsson, and they probably won't get there, but they're inching closer to 20 goals each, right?
Yeah.
And if you said at the start of the year, you're going to get 20 and 20 from Arvidsson and Skinner, I think there still would have been a little bit of disappointment, but people would be like, you know what? That's okay. That's not bad because you expect Hyman to have a whole bunch. You expect Nugent Hopkins to have a pile of goals. That didn't necessarily happen, but all things considered with how bad Arvidsson and Skinner got out of the gates, inching towards a 20-goal season, not bad.
They've been good lately.
Considered. Yeah,
I mean they were pretty much non-factors in the first half, but they've been pretty good in this. They've been pretty good in the second half. I think it's even credit, and then we'll see how it sort of kind of comes together there. Elmo over in the chat says Nuge ? No Nuge tonight. Did you give a Nuge update? I'm not sure if he's just sick,
sorry,
right?
Nugent Hopkins still sick.
Okay.
Yeah, still sick. He wasn't out. He wasn't even on the ice. So still sick with Nugent Hopkins. That's not good.
All right, so a chance for him to get healthy here over the next little bit as well, which is not the end of the world. They've had two close finishes against San Jose so far this year. They beat them 9-2, pretty much a calendar year from today last year. Tommy, do you think this is another tight one tonight, or do they clinch in style here?
I think, you get Ekholm back. You got McDavid back. You've got Arvidsson and Skinner playing well. hell, Podkolzin scored the other night. I think this is it should be a decisive Oilers victory, and I think it's kind of trending in that direction. Simple as that. I mean, I don't think there's no Askarov again. Askarov was the reason why it was close that first game.
He was excellent in that game.
Yeah. And then I know they got Georgi Romanov, who played well in San Jose, but the Oilers really didn't have a lot of gusto in that game and still squeaked it out. I think tonight they just run away with it, regardless of who's in net for the Sharks.
Unfortunate Son says, guys, just tuning in, early Friday workday. So are we still down to 8 players like last game, or is anyone coming back tonight? No, they won't be. They will be able to dress 6 defensemen and 12 forwards tonight. So we'll get into that. Juan was looking for some news on Nuge. We have that for you as well. So that's the latest on Nuge. He is still sick. We'll see when he returns to the lineup. Okay, so you said this morning that Knobloch did say they will start the goaltender that they believe gives them the best chance to win, which, I mean, that's very coach speak. Don't get me wrong here. But are you legitimately reading into that? Like, do you think, because fans will say, well, Pickard has a better winning percentage. He's got a better save percentage. He's got a better goals against average. He's been the better goalie for the last 2 months, and he's played more recently. That's probably the guy that gives you the best chance to win. But on the other side, Stuart Skinner was your guy in the playoffs last year, had some really good games at times in the playoffs last year, but hasn't played much lately, has not been good for the last couple of months, has worse numbers than Pickard so far this year. So I'm fascinated to see if they start Pickard in game 1, do we hold Knobloch to his word that he's the guy who gives them the best chance to win? Or I think it's all coach speak and Skinner starts game 1 regardless of the numbers or the stats or the recent play.
Yeah, I think maybe it is a bit of a deception and kind of playing the game within the game, the dark arts, as we like to say around here, kind of getting the tone set with the LA Kings. It is interesting because usually Chris Knobloch is very clear in saying that Stu Skinner is their starting goalie. But the way Pickard's played, the scrappy style, the results he's gotten, I think ultimately you're probably right, Dusty. Like, especially if Skinner comes in very motivated, has a good game this coming weekend or on Monday, whichever game he starts. I'm assuming he's playing against Winnipeg. And then he probably plays that San Jose game to wrap up the regular season next week. If he has 2 good starts, 100%, I think he gets game 1. But I think the leash for both guys is going to be relatively short. I think that's the situation we're in now. I have nothing against Calvin Pickard starting game 1. I have nothing against Stu Skinner starting game 1. I feel like we're going to see more of a platoon this year in the postseason as opposed to last year where it was Stu's net and Pickard came in, gave them a good couple of outings, got the 1 win against Vancouver, and Stu took it the rest of the way. So I think the leash is shorter. I think I get the sense that we're watching Chris Knobloch play the game within the game already and kind of screwing with the LA Kings, which is fine. And yeah, if Skinner starts game 1, I'm like, all right, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm just not sure the Kings are concerned about who's in net for the Oilers either way.
Yeah, they should.
You know what I mean? Like, they're going to have the goaltending advantage either way. I mean, Kemper has been better undoubtedly than either of the Oilers guys so far this year. So what happens though if Skinner comes back and like just is average or maybe slightly below average in his 2 starts?
Then I think we see Calvin Pickard.
See, and I still think we'd see Stuart Skinner.
You do?
I do. I see, like, if Skinner comes back, I mean, if he's god awful in one of them, like, let's say he's awful and gets bloody pulled in one of them or something, then maybe the coaching staff decide. But to me, if he comes back and you're like, oh, same Stuart Skinner that was before and let in a bad goal or 2 in each of the 2 games, I mean, I think it would have to take a masterclass in ineptitude for Skinner to not start game 1. I do. And I think, I mean, I think I'd probably do the same thing if I was the Oilers anyway. He was your number 1 guy last year. He's been your number 1 guy, as far as games played and the way you've managed your goaltenders all of this year. That guy usually gets the number 1 start in game number 1. So And then you have your backup. And I will say this, Pickard has been a very good backup in that role for the Edmonton Oilers this year. So I think they'll look at it as like, well, we go to our backup and he's a really good backup and we can use him for spots like this. So I think no matter what, unless Skinner is atrocious in 2 games, I think it'll be Skinner 100%. And to be honest with you, to the point where I'd probably be surprised. Not that I would fully disagree with it, because you can make a very solid case that Pickard deserves to be that guy to start with what he's done. But I would be stunned if they don't make it, if they don't give it to Skinner in game 1 at least.
Yeah, I could see him getting the start in game 1, but I do think that the leash is shorter for either guy. I think they'll just go more willing to go back and forth. I think that's my sense.
You think the playoff picture this year, depending on how far they go, we'll see more of both guys, like more of the duo than as opposed to Pickard has to try to come in to save things for a little bit and then it's back to Skinner's net the whole time?
Yeah, well, I think it'll be game to game. Honestly, they lose, Skinner plays bad,
is different than last year.
Yeah, exactly. Then you go to Calvin Pickard and see how he does. If he has good success, ride him. If he doesn't, put Stu back in. I think they're going to play off. I just feel like it's a scenario that's opening up to them playing off of one another, and whichever guy is hot or has played better, that's his net. I think it should be Stu Skinner's. I have faith and trust, and I'm optimistic in him to get his game back into form and to dial it in for the playoffs. If he doesn't, he's got a whole summer to figure it out because he is expected to be their starter going forward. He's only in his 3rd NHL season, full NHL season. I think we quickly forget that.
All right. Coach Mike is asking about D pairings tonight. Okay. So what were they at the skate today? And then we'll just slot in.
Yeah. Okay. So here's how they skated today. It was Nurse with Bouchard, Kulak with Stetcher, Ekholm with Emberson. Deneen was the extra.
So Ekholm was taking some reps with Emberson.
Yeah. So we might see that, but we see them tap dance. We see Kulak with Nurse at times. So maybe they're trying to ease Ekholm back in.
I was going to say, when Ekholm gets back up to speed, you think it's Ekholm and Bouchard come game 1 of the playoffs?
I do think so. But
so then who would you have with Nurse for game 1 of the playoffs? Let's say Ekholm's back and Ekholm and Bouchard together. Would it be Wallman or would it be?
I think it probably would be Wallman, and I think you'd still see Kulak with whoever. Probably Emberson or Stetcher. Stetcher's been better than Emberson's game as the level of competition has risen down the stretch. I think Emberson has had some tough nights, so I think Stetcher probably wins out in that scenario, and I could see him starting with Kulak, and then we see Kulak get some reps with Nurse because we've seen a lot of that. And actually today, which was interesting, Dusty, because you know how we talk about the lines, we talk about what we see at morning skate, how the guys are going. Leon was asked about lines and wingers and this and that, and he goes, I've had different wingers all year long. I think we're at the point now where it's pretty obvious it doesn't matter. I know how to play with everybody. I think everybody, like the lines, he's like, the lines change so much from the morning to the first shift to the second period. He's like, the lines don't matter. So, and you and I have kind of joked about that most of the season. And even the players are saying it's like, it depends on the situation. Yes, they might, start a game 5-on-5 a certain way, but it gets thrown into a blender so fast that even Leon's just like, they don't really matter.
Yeah, well, he's not lying.
Yeah.
I mean, they move things around a ton. With that being said, I could see come playoff time, it's Arvidsson and Bunkholzen with Draisaitl, who I think have been his 2 most common line mates so far this season. All right, you can hit us up over on YouTube. If you've not yet subbed to the channel, we would appreciate that. If you are listening on the podcast later on after the fact, slide on over and sub to our YouTube channel as well. We would very much appreciate that. And if you are listening on TuneIn or iHeart or EdmontonSportsTalk.com live, you can text us to get in on the conversation at 780-218-9999. 99. McLean texts in today and says, guys, when everyone is healthy and assuming Jones and Kapanen are 2 scratches, who is the 13th forward? It's really hard. I think he meant the 12th forward. Or I guess the 13th forward would be the other guy who's scratched ahead of Jones and Kapanen. So yeah, he would technically be meaning the 13th forward. And he says it is really hard, and it's not an easy discussion, but it's a fun discussion to have. Like for us as members of the media, and I think for fans, because the options would be Podkolzin, Skinner, Perry.
Yep.
Probably like Brown's not coming out. Janmark's not going to come out. So it basically is one of Podkolzin, Skinner, and we're talking, this is like if Evander Kane is available as well. So I mean, this would be a very healthy group and a very good forward group. So whoever is the odd man out is still, an NHL caliber contributor. But if it's Perry, Podkolzin, and Skinner as the 3 options to come out, who would you take out, and why will Knobloch take out Skinner?
Yeah, I was just gonna say probably takes out Skinner, to be honest with you. Just because the Kings are big, fast, they play a tough game, so I think that's what gives a Podkolzin and a Perry the benefit of the doubt, and a Janmark who penalty kills, the benefit of the doubt over Skinner. Podkolzin is also on the penalty kill. He's been paired up with Kapanen a lot, but they could find a replacement for Kapanen on the PK easily. So yeah, I think it would likely be Jeff Skinner, but kind of like the goalies, Dusty, I feel like the leash will be short. If Perry doesn't give you a good game and doesn't do anything and is a ghost, or Podkolzin just skates around and doesn't hit anybody and gets caught out of position in his own zone, then I think they go to Skinner pretty quickly. Or if they can't score and they're having a tough time generating offense in game 1, then I think they would make the flip between Skinner or Podkolzin and Perry. So I think Skinner probably the odd man out if everyone's healthy that's on the shelf right now, and then Podkolzin or Perry is the first scratch, depending on what happens in game.
What do you say, people? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. I think Podkolzin will remain in it. You mentioned, I wonder. Yeah, the Perry one's interesting. I think you're going to want Perry in, but I could also see at times just being like, man, you pull for Perry. Perry will do anything for your group, but he just can't keep up right now. Come play like in a really intense, but in an intense, I don't want Corey Perry to be buried on the bench for 5 minutes in a hockey game when Skinner has. No, I mean, Perry's had a nice offensive season too. I mean, it's probably going to be
16 goals.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Skinner. But yeah, we'll see. Gord says Pods or Perry, both their physicality is replaced by Kane, and Kane's goal scoring over Pods is easy, despite missing a year, as Pods has just 8 goals so far. Gord follows it up by saying Oilers are going to struggle to score on the Kings. There's no way Skinner should be out. Unfortunate Son says Perry, being a ghost, is out of character for him this season. I've noticed him every single game. There's always something little, even if it is that he does. You're like, oh, there's Corey Perry. Like,
he has had some tough nights this year.
Like from things are moving too quick perspective.
Yeah.
For
the most part, he's been really good.
I think it would probably be Podkolzin would be the most likely guy of the 3 to stay in, and then it's a conversation between Perry and Skinner, which could possibly be an easier conversation to have because they're like the exact opposite players. Like you either need Perry style in this series or you need Skinner style in this series. Like I don't know if there's 2 more opposite players on the entire roster, to be honest with you, than those 2 guys.
And to point out a positive, at least you have different type of players available to you that you can mold your lineup to certain scenarios and what the opposition's throwing at you, as opposed to maybe having, too much skill, but not enough rough stuff or sandpaper. But now, I mean, like you said, those 3 guys, they all play a different style of game and bring different benefits to the lineup. And certainly they have their detractors too, each guy's individual game, but you can kind of cater to your opponent with the guys available in the stable, if you will.
This one says, McGurbick says, can't keep up. Playoff hockey slows the F down. And I would politely agree with, like, I know it can get a little more cluttered, but don't tell me that playoff hockey is slower than NHL regular season hockey. I mean, am I wrong here, Tommy? Like, I feel like that's a bizarre take over in the chat.
That is coming out of left field and missing high and outside. The playoff hockey is the best and fastest and hardest hockey all year long. Ask any player. Mistakes are minimized. Guys dial it in. It is on a different level, so it does not slow down one iota.
Troll is in and says, Perry has 16 goals. He should be in to start. Skinner has been good. Podkolzin actually shot a puck past a goalie, unlike Matthias Janmark so far this season. Yeah, Janmark's about to go the full regular season without shooting a puck past a goalie.
And I get that. We mock him. He's my boy, as I stand by him, if you will.
Is he so good in other elements of the game that you're just like, don't worry. I mean, he hasn't shot and scored on a goalie this year. He should 100% be in the lineup. Like, that must be how they view it, because...
Yeah, because if you're asking me, I'd answer that by just saying no.
Yeah, like he's good in some of those areas, but is he like... Yeah, I mean, he's not out on the ice in the last minute protecting the lead.
Not usually.
He doesn't factor in offensively at all. There's some jam in his game, which I think is important. Moves well, but no offensive touch at all whatsoever. Part of a penalty kill that, I mean, I think Staff pointed out last night has been good recently, but let's be honest.
16th in the NHL going into today.
Is it 16th now? So it's bumped up a couple spots.
Big time, yeah.
It's still second half, or it's mid to second half. It's been in the second half all year. Like, this is not a penalty kill that you're like, for example, last year, the penalty kill in the playoffs was huge for them.
It was great. Awesome.
So yeah. I guess you put those guys back in. Like, you need the Janmark was a big part of that last year. So I guess that's why he gets his spot specifically for penalty killing. Because to me, he doesn't do anything else except penalty kill. So we'll see.
I like when he mixes it up. He gets feisty and stuff, and he has that confused look on his face. I always get a kick out of that. But that's just me.
All right, let's see here. This one is in. No name on this, and just their third text ever. So thank you very much for being here today. Please join us more often, and feel free to text in as many times as you would like. Well, I would say that the starting group compared to last year is not as good. Is the depth stronger? I mean, we are debating sitting Perry, Podkolzin. Last year, it was Ryan. Is this to the Oilers' advantage, do you think, this year? I would say it's probably close to that conversation last year.
Yeah, and they even sat Connor Brown for the first round last year. So I don't know. Maybe.
But other guys were healthy along the way too, right? Like Fogle was healthy at some point in the playoffs. Like
Fogle got sat, I think, in the Cup final.
I think it was game 2 of the Stanley Cup final. Yeah.
Yeah. McLeod, I think, got sat.
So there were good players out of the lineup last year in the playoffs as well.
It's kind of a similar scenario, I guess. Different players, but notable NHL players that could be missing games here. Yeah, I don't know. And we didn't know Holloway would be as good as he was. We didn't know that Broberg would have the type of impact that he did in the 10 games he played. Vinny Desharnais had a tough postseason. Cody Ceci, fans were clamoring for him to be sat. He did get sat, I think, also game 2 of the Stanley Cup final. Yeah, it was interesting how guys got hot and cold and which guys sat night to night, depending on the scenario. I think it's similar. I think compared to last year, it's similar, the situation.
Statue Boss Productions over on the YouTube chat. We know this coach by now. Janmark and Podkolzin are not coming out. However, Gord makes an interesting point. If they're going to scratch Skinner, it means Frederick is back and he penalty kills. So we don't need a PK specialist in Janmark if they have a spot with a full healthy roster, which is kind of interesting. But would you for a guy who's never played with the group, I mean, you just automatically just put him in on the penalty kill and taking Janmark out because of that?
Okay, keep in mind, I'll just say this before we get to Janmark coming out. You're losing a penalty killer in Kapanen by taking him out. So Frederick could slide in there.
Yeah, I just refuse to believe Kapanen contributes at all. So, I mean,
he skates around and looks good, but then
Yeah.
doesn't do anything. So that's cool. But when he wants to skate around with a puck, he looks good, and it's lovely. Like, he does it well.
Penner's Pancakes over in the chat says there are no Jujar Cares or Lenny Petrels to sit, so the depth has increased dramatically.
You watch your mouth when you talk about Leonard Petrel.
We're going back a few years, but boy, Rory McIlroy a 6 under today, tied for the best round of the day, brings him to 6 under after he blew it on the last few holes yesterday. Big redemption round for Rory here. He's T3. DeChambeau is 4 under. Today he's 7 under, and Rose got in at 8 under. So, how much of the Masters did you consume yesterday, Tommy?
I watched a bit late round.
Yeah.
Good to see Corey Connors was up there.
Yeah, it was nice.
I have it on here in the home studio office. I just watched Scotty tee off. Yeah, I didn't. Good for Rory for making a surge. I like Rory. I honestly hope he gets it. But
I mean, it was tough because he looked great yesterday and then had 2 doubles in the final 4 holes. If he just can somehow get pars there, he's 10 under and he's your leader right now. So, I mean, he stumbled for 4 holes yesterday and he's still sitting just 2 back with a couple to play here today. I believe 17 is a par 5. I might be wrong.
He had that one hole when I was watching yesterday where he chipped and it rolled off and it went into the water. And then he had to chip over the water from the drop area.
Yeah, that was tough. That was a disaster.
But that hole was killing a lot of guys yesterday. Yeah, I've got it on here. I'm just keeping tabs.
Yeah, I think everybody is. I mean, I spent like 2 hours between shows just sitting over there watching the Masters. The Godfather was in, and we. Of
course he was.
It's a Friday, so he popped by.
Yeah,
and, we had a good little Masters viewing session there for a bit. So that was a fun day so far. So we'll keep tabs on that. Big Uke was in on the hangout today, and he's still hanging around. He's
still there.
He can sit here and watch golf all day, I think, which is fun. All right, let's get into your Popeye spicy headlines. And let's do this, a nice little fun task here for everybody. 780-218-9999. Shaggy in St. Albert says, the others still haven't clinched a playoff spot. Them and the Habs are the only teams that have not locked up a spot. Calm down, Shaggy. It's going to be
okay, Shaggy.
Shaggy, it's all right. I don't think you need to worry about it. They have a 99.99% chance of locking up a playoff spot. So that'll be taken care of. Also, Minnesota and St. Louis also haven't locked up playoff spots yet. So that's okay. It'll be okay. Shaggy, this is from Goodwill Hunting. It's not your fault, Shaggy. It's not your fault. It's going to be all right. Okay? Go see about a girl, and everything's going to be okay. All right, Tommy, I want to go through this task today, and this is why some of you can help us with this over on YouTube or in the chat. Let's power rank the 8 playoff teams in the West. Okay. So
good idea.
Because we can look at the standings and go, that's it. But you can also factor in what they've done the last few years in the playoffs, how they've been playing lately, all that type of stuff. So there's a lot of interesting ways to look at this. So let's start. You want to start at the bottom and work our way up?
Sure.
You want to do that? I think I think we do that. All right. So if you're watching or listening right now, which team do you put at the bottom of a Western Conference playoff power rankings? Okay. It's one of St. Louis or Minnesota. Minnesota just got Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson back and had that huge game. Now it was against the Sharks, but they hung 8 on them. And those are that's their 2 best forwards. Nothing against anybody else on that team. Their 2 most important forwards, I guess. Nothing against Matt Boldy. But Kaprizov's a stud, and I think Eriksson is a very important piece for that team. So they just got them back. So it might not be as easy as just putting Minnesota at 8. With that being said, I think I still would put Minnesota at 8, slightly behind the St. Louis Blues, but I'm not putting the Blues into that top 6 despite their run. Tommy, your thoughts on Minnesota and St. Louis at the bottom of these power rankings, and which order would you have them in?
I would have Minnesota at 8 as well. I mean, they've lost so much momentum, and I know the injuries have been devastating, and they're getting their guys back. I still don't have a lot of faith in them in the postseason, especially either them playing Vegas or Winnipeg. Like, I think that they're going to get their show run in the first round, done in 5, maybe 6 if they're lucky. Now, I might have a controversial take on who I have at 7.
Okay. Well, okay, this is good. This is why we wanted to do this experiment. Shaggy in St. Albert says PK Subban has the Oilers in the 8th in the conference. Shaggy, don't ever text in any comments from PK Subban ever again. I don't know how he weaseled his way into ESPN. I don't even respect his hockey takes, let alone all these other branches going off on with Ovechkin and LeBron and Kobe, and he was talking about Barry Bonds. I have no time for anything PK Subban says. And I used to love PK Subban when he played for the Habs. I loved him. I absolutely love the guy, but I think he's a hot take machine. So share those somewhere else. I do not care what PK Subban has to say, even about hockey. So we'll move along there. Tommy, who do you have at 7 then, if it's not St. Louis?
I have the Los Angeles Kings at 7.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. The main reason being, what's the deal here?
I don't think they're as formidable as people are making them out to be. I think that they're still a good team. I think that they made slight improvements to their team from last year. I respect Darcy Kemper, but I still think that they're a quick out. I think 5 or 6 for the Oilers, and they're done with the Kings.
Okay, so we're not going to be able to unanimously. We'll have to do our own lists as we work our way through here.
Yeah, and I figured this would
good. That's good because I am putting the Blues. I know the Blues have been on a run. I understand that. I think the Kings are a better team. So you're going Kings at 7.
Yep.
And Wild at 8, and I'm going Blues at 7 and Wild at 8. Unfortunate Son says I did not see LA at 7, and Gord says that take is hot, Tommy.
I don't think it's as hot as people think it is. I really don't think that St. Louis is going to be able to get it done against Edmonton. Or pardon me, Los Angeles.
You don't think Los Angeles can get it done against Edmonton?
No, I think Edmonton's in their heads. Good for LA for beefing up and all that. But I think the Oilers look at the Kings in the first round, especially with their guys back, and just go, all right, well, we know how to take care of these guys. And I think that's what happens. I go back to this and I believe in it with this Oilers team. It's that thing Glenn Anderson said to me when we did the 84 or 85 reunion. And I said, what Oilers team was the best one out of all the ones that won the cup? And he goes, 88. And I'm like, why 88? Like the team you didn't have Paul Coffey. The team was kind of like on the cusp of breaking up, if you will. And he goes, well, by that point, like the regular season didn't really matter. We were okay in the regular season. We were a good team, but as soon as we got to the playoffs, we just knew how to dial it in, and we went and ran over everyone. I think they went 16-2, never losing at Northlands. And I feel like the Oilers have finally kind of gotten that point where they can just play in the postseason and dial it in, and I think they will. So I think LA is the 7th strongest team in the West going into the playoffs, in my opinion, since we're doing this ranking. Plus, we can't all agree on everything. No,
it's true. I like it. I mean, people should have hot takes all the time. C Runs laid his out. Feel free to send yours in. Just rank them 1 through 8 right now. 780-218-9999. Tommy and I are just getting to number 6. Petey from Grand Prairie says, the Kings could barely beat a depleted Oilers lineup a few games ago. Tommy may be onto something. Hampton Steve says Minnesota is the clear bottom team. Haven't won a first round series in forever. Troll has sent in his entire ranking right now as well. Let's see if we can get to a few of these. Who do you have at 6, Tommy?
I will go St. Louis.
St. Louis at 6.
With the next. And I have nothing but respect for what they've done in the last couple of months. Absolutely tremendous. They're humming along. But, even you look at them the other night and you're some good fight with that Blues team. But at the same time, I don't know if they're going to be able to outmatch some of the beasts in the Central. Even if they get the Golden Knights, I think the Golden Knights take care of them pretty quickly. And then when we look back on the Blues in 24-25, we go, tough start, but really, really nice finish. And, maybe next year they'll have more of their ducks in order and guys will be healthy and they can build their team. Now Parayko, and maybe they could make some more noise in the regular season. But I still have them at 6.
I mean, if we're sitting here spitting out hot takes right now, I'm going to put the Vegas Golden Knights at 6.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, last time we watched the Oilers play the Golden Knights, there was nothing. And I know they were missing, who were they missing? Hurdle? And then Pietrangelo on the back end.
Yep. Pietrangelo's back.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't watched a ton of the Golden Knights this year, but I've watched more of the Golden Knights than I have like teams from that Central. And I know they're having a good year, but I think whoever comes out of the Kings Oilers series is going to beat Vegas, whether it's Los Angeles or it's Edmonton.
Ooh.
So and this could end up aging horribly, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm confident in it. I like the other 3 teams in the Central more, and I think whoever wins at Los Angeles, Edmonton can beat the Vegas Golden Knights this year. So I'm going to put Vegas. I'm going to put Vegas at 6. Let's get nuts. And you know what? The playoffs never go as you expect, unless it's the March Madness this year where all 4 number ones made the Final Four. But all right, so you've got St. Louis at 6, and I've got the Golden Knights at 6. All right, who are you going in 5?
Vegas Golden Knights.
Okay. Oh, so I mean, you're not that far.
No,
you're
not that far
ahead of me. Okay, geez, I thought you might have them up in like the top 3 or something, and then I was going to be way off. But
no, I don't. Here's why. Like, listen, they've had a really good season. They have a great lineup. They have championship pedigree, but they've kind of been inconsistent in the second half of the year. Like not as dominant. And not just like cruising through teams. And you point to that game we saw, was it last week when the Oilers kicked off their road trip? Edmonton actually handled Vegas well with a very depleted lineup. And I didn't notice a lot of gusto from the Golden Knights. Yes, Eichel's having a great year. Hurdle is having a good year. But like Carlson, who was a big part of their existence, he's tapered off. They went and got Riley Smith, kind of hearkening back to the past. I don't know what he's going to be for them. They have a big, mean 4th line that can do some damage, but I just think their middle 6 forwards leave you maybe wanting more in terms of results.
I think I don't think that's a crazy take.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put the Kings. I'm going to put the Kings at 5. So we are, I mean, I don't know if we're being homers here, but we both have Edmonton as like the top team from the Pacific, correct?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go Kings at 5. And then so now it comes down to the top 4. We've got the 3 teams from the Central still kicking around here, and we have the others. We have the same 4 teams left. Who are you putting 4th in that top 4 group, Tommy?
The Colorado Avalanche. The Avs. Dusty, like, I know they went and loaded up Brock Nelson. I watched him take a shootout shot. I'm like, oh yeah, Brock Nelson got traded there at the deadline. Then right after that, Charlie Coyle goes and wins it in the shootout. And I was like, that's where Charlie Coyle is. They went and got some good veteran players, but I still have question marks around their goaltending. I know they got the lumberyard with Wedgwood and Blackwood, but I don't know if it really is going to put them over the top. McKinnon, tremendous season. Landeskog playing today for the Colorado Eagles, so he's on the road back to maybe getting into the postseason. That would be a huge boost for them. But I still look at them and go, I don't know. I don't think they get it done in the playoffs. I just, maybe they win the first round, but I still have them at 4th. I think that the 3 teams in front of them are more battle tested and ready this year for the playoffs than the Avalanche are.
I don't think you'll get an argument from me on this one. I'm going to throw Colorado in the 4th spot as well. You laid out a lot of the good reasons there. They did. I thought they nailed the deadline though. I mean, they were great. Yeah, impressive what they did.
They got some good players.
But the other two teams in that division have been so consistent. And we know what the Oilers did last year when they put together their playoff run. All right, so we both have Colorado at 4, which leaves Winnipeg, Dallas, and Edmonton in the top 3. Who are you going to power rank third among the Western Conference playoff teams right now?
I'll put the Oilers in at 3. This is the year they should have been number 1. They faltered with that. Injuries have been a concern. Slow starts, inconsistency has been a concern. We have every right to question their legitimacy as contenders or top contenders just because of how the year has gone. But despite all of that, despite the perception of gloom and doom at times, they've been a really good team and they've beaten good teams, and they've done it with goaltending that's been inconsistent. They've done it with their best offensive defenseman having a horrific defensive season. I still think that and I know we like saying you can't just flip the switch, but I think if any team in the West can flip the switch and turn it on for the playoffs, it's going to be the Edmonton Oilers. So I give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll put them in at number 3. How about you?
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd say the team flips a switch or if it's just McDavid and Draisaitl drags everybody in. You know what I mean?
Well, they will.
Those guys can do that, right? So I have the Oilers at 3 as well. Thought about putting them a little bit higher because I do think of like the teams we have in the top 6, the top 3 from the Pacific, and you had the Kings in 7th, but the 3 teams that are top 3 teams in the Central, top 3 teams in the Pacific right now, standings wise, I do think that most of those teams have played to their potential for most of this season, whereas the Oilers are 4 points back of the Kings, 5 points back of the Avalanche, and have 2 games in hand. And I think they've probably haven't played to their potential for 50% of the season. So, I think there's more room for improvement going into the playoffs with the Oilers than there is for some of these other teams that are higher than them in the standings. So, they could possibly have the Hart Trophy winner this year and another guy named Connor McDavid. So I do think that those 2 guys, especially with the injuries or rest or however you want to describe it that they've managed to get over the next little while here, I think if they are relatively healthy, they should be pretty juiced up and there's a lot of gas in the tank. So I will put the Edmonton Oilers at number 3 in the Western Conference power rankings. Top 2 teams, it's Winnipeg or Dallas. They played last night. How are you sorting out that top 2?
I'm going to go with Winnipeg next. And it's all due respect to I know they took care of Dallas last night. Hellebuck had a big game, and I know you and Huss were talking about that on the Lock Shop going into action yesterday. But Winnipeg has had a great season post to post. They've got a guy in Hellebuck who's the best goalie in the league again, maybe even a Hart Trophy winner. They stuck with their guys. They didn't really change the lineup up too much in the offseason, minimal tweaks at the deadline, and it's a chance at redemption for last year's first-round exit to Colorado in what was a crazy series. And I think that's what motivates them, but that's what brings doubt in my mind to the Winnipeg Jets is their inability to get it done in the postseason in recent years. But because of how good they've been all season long, outside of maybe like a 4 or 5 game blip on the radar, they get number 2. How about you?
I think I'm going to stick Dallas at number 2, buddy. I'm going to go. I think I'm going to leave Winnipeg up at the top. And I know they haven't had playoff success, with this group, even remotely close to anything that they could really be proud of come playoff time. But their power play is special this year. Like these other Winnipeg teams that have been great, I don't think they had a guy who finished top 7 in league scoring. Kyle Connor he's in the 7th in the league right now and scored 40 bloody goals. Mark Scheifele's 13th or 14th in the league in scoring. I could be wrong, but I don't think these other Winnipeg teams who had these guys, they weren't at this level offensively. Their power play's tied for the best power play in the National Hockey League. So, I'm going to go Dallas at 2, and I'm going to stick the Winnipeg Jets up at number 1. And we know Dallas has, as far as the West goes, they've maxed it out the last couple of years and haven't been able to get it done. So they've added Rantanen. He's looked okay at times. I don't know if it's been as good a fit as they were hoping for. When are they supposed to get Heiskanen back?
I think by the playoffs, right?
I thought it was a little bit into the playoffs.
Okay.
But like this Dallas team, like we saw them roll through. How many shots did the Oilers and Flames have them on back-to-back nights? Like 90, 92 or 93 combined shots?
40 something.
Like I don't know if that's, I don't know. I'm not sure I have the confidence in Dallas. We'll see if they can get by Colorado, but I don't think they beat Winnipeg this year. I honestly don't. So, yeah, I'll go Dallas at 2, and I'll put Winnipeg in the top spot. So you're going to put Dallas right at the top for what they've done the last couple of years, and now they've got Rantanen, obviously. Yeah,
and keep in mind this is the power ranking going into the playoffs, not who I think is going to go out and win it. Out of all due respect to Dallas and what this team has accomplished in the last few years and how good they are on paper, they are beatable. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Number 1 team in my power rankings in the West going into the postseason, but definitely beatable still. And depending on how healthy their defense is, when they get Heiskanen back, like I look at that bottom pair and I go, well, you might be able to take advantage of that. Even the middle pair with who do they have in there? CeCe's been paired up with what? Lindell. And Labushkin too. So I would look at their defense and go, all right, that's where there's a question mark. Maybe that's what you can expose, but they have played so good the last few years and this year included. I will give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll put them in at number 1 in my power rankings with the note being they're beatable. I think Colorado's beatable. I think Winnipeg's beatable. And I definitely think LA's beatable. And St. Louis and Minnesota, forget about it. Don't forget about it.
VR Montenegro into the inbox from 8-1 Minnesota. I'll just read him the other way. He has Edmonton at the top and says, to quote the great vocalist Jay Milne, believe in me. Edmonton, Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado, the Kings, Vegas, St. Louis, and Minnesota. Believe in me. Oh, is that nice work, Zach. The Liquid Beaver says, I'm 100% in agree with Tommy. The Kings don't scare me. This text is in. It says, Avs number 1. Landeskog is back. Well, he's playing tonight, American League. It'd be interesting to see, what type of impact he can have. He's been out even longer than Evander Kane, for goodness sakes.
It's like 2.5 years now.
Yeah, that's a long time. Good to see him back, though. I mean, as far as a guy who's been waiting and trying to get back in here. So, that'll be good. All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Juan asks, who in the West? Oh, we got to get going. We'll save that one. Juan, we'll get to it. We got lots of playoff previews next week. Maddie, is it just you, solo show? You and Zacticum.
Ooh.
Okay, what's coming up on the show on EST Afternoons? Hernan and Gage are both on vacation today, so what's coming up?
Well, of course, a lot of talk about Ekholm's return.
Yes.
Stuart Skinner being the backup tonight and all the updates on Frederick and company there. And then at 1:45, we'll have James Herbert from CBS Sports and 2:20, Adam Stanley.
Basketball guy. That's right. I remember Herbert. Didn't I try to steal him from one of your shows in the past? Yeah. And then who else? Sorry, Zach, I interrupted you.
And Adam Stanley.
Oh, okay, Adam Stanley on the Masters. Perfect. Okay, well, that'll be a great show. Stick around. Maddie Wanek and Zacticum will have your EST Afternoons, and then Reed Wilkins and Jay Milne, the glue guy, locked and loaded from 3 until 6 today. Tommy, have a good pre and post tonight, buddy.
Yep. Dusty, I'm off to Ice House to get set up and figure out all the logistics for home games.
Home games. We're going to be. Home games for the playoffs. Tommy Gazzola will be set up pre and post at the Ice House downtown right by the rink, so make plans to pop in there before and after home games for the playoffs. Tommy, we'll talk to you later, buddy.
See you, Dusty.